Again, my name is Anton Sakharov, and I thank you with the bottom of my heart for showing up on a Saturday. I'm sure you had other things to do, but I really appreciate it. Thank you, Aaron, for setting this up. I know you've been spending lots and lots of hours searching for different
Can't get in trouble when you're busy.
And I really appreciate. Thank you for the opportunity to use this facility for this. Thank you. Well, I'll start off again. My name is Anton. I'll go through who I am, where did I come from, some of the reasons why I'm running, what I stand for, what kind of my policies are, and then we'll get to the most important piece, why we need to work together to make a difference. So I'll start out with, I'm a Jewish refugee from Soviet Union. I was born in the last decade of the Soviet Union before it fell apart, and I got to witness hell on earth. That's what socialism is. And then I saw another hell on earth when it ended, because that's when the Wild Wild West was in there, where people there was no laws at all. It was just, it was crazy. But we, my dad is Jewish, and we, our family are Jewish refugees. We got accepted to come to the United States. And I was brought here when I was 12. And I came, I didn't know a word in English. Sorry, I knew 2 words, yes and Coca-Cola. And given that it was a brand new culture, brand new country, new language, first few years was tough. And that's what I call the melting pot experience, where you have to melt in and really start to understand this country, what it's about. And that's what made me. That's what made me a patriot. That's what made me respect the flag, the country. That's what made me cherish the blue passport that I finally got, that I had to take a test for. I had to pass all the background checks and numerous other bureaucracies, and I'm proud of it. And that's who I am today. And I have 3 boys. I have a middle one right behind me taking a video. He's 11. I have, sorry, you just turned 12 just a few days ago. I have a 15-year-old and a 4-year-old. 3 boys, and that kind of moves into why I'm running. There's really 2 main reasons why I'm running. Number 1 is, and I have some cheat sheets with quotes, but I'm running because I seen socialism. And I feel it a mile away before anybody else does. And I feel it's coming to this state. And I said, I cannot sit and watch on the sidelines when socialism is creeping here, because I've seen how bad it is. And I said, I can't and won't sit on the sidelines. I got to do something. My wife and I were talking about, well, should we move? And then, where will we move? And if we do, what's a guarantee it's not going to come there? Because it's spreading. And I said, I got to do something. I'm going to fight, because I'm not going to allow socialism to be in this state. Ever. So I said, I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna fix this, because this is unacceptable. America fought socialism. It defeated socialism, and now it's creeping in here. And that is unacceptable. So that's the main reason why I decided to run. But I also have a second reason, which is equally important. 2016, Donald Trump revamped the Republican Party. He won. He showed us how it can be done. He's not a career politician, and that gave me hope. And that is why I am the only candidate that is officially going out in downtown Seattle, putting up a Trump hat on to support him. In face of hundreds of Antifa, separated by hundreds of police officers, and I've done that twice already, and I'll do it again, because I support Trump 100%, and I'm not hiding it. And I'm working very hard, not just to win as a governor, but to help our state flip red, because I absolutely think it can be done. like I said, I support Trump not just as a voter. I support Trump in all of his policies as well, and a lot of his policies are duplicated in mine. And I'll go through some, most of the core ones down the line. But I just want to mention, well, a lot of people ask, what's your qualification to be a governor? I grew up working since I was 17. I went to college, I worked full-time. Been working full-time throughout my career. The last 13 years, I was in high tech as a project program manager, managing projects, teams, and budgets. I have a bachelor's in finance and master's degree in project and organization management. And the governor of our state should and must be a manager. That's their role. It's not a politician. It's to manage. So pardon my French, is to make sure our toilets work. And that's what I'm good at. I'm good at managing teams' budgets, and that's what we need in our state, and that's the reason why I think I'm the most qualified to do that. Because I want to work for the people, and I want to solve the problems that people face, not be a wing of a political party and just drive on the political line. And that's what Inslee's doing, because a lot of what he's driving through is what the Democratic Party wants him to do. He's not listening to the people. And our 88 is a great example. We spoke, but they spent a lot of money fighting that. So it's $30 car tabs, and I'll move into that later. And I wanted to jump into some of the things I support. I'm running on 3 core issues: taxes, infrastructure, and safety. And within taxes, my promise to every single voter, in fact, 3 promises to every single voter. Number 1, when I'm elected governor, there will be no state income tax. Number 2, there will be no state income tax. Number 3, there will be no state income tax. But I'm also going to be working very hard to reduce taxes for everyone. I think we need to end death tax. We need to end estate recovery tax. We need to make sure the sugar tax is gone. There's going to be no carbon tax, because all of those are essentially an income tax, and it's just a different naming. I'm also going to be fighting very hard to make sure that we don't have toll lanes. We pay for those. Those roads existed, and they're paid by our taxes, and all of a sudden now we have to pay more to ride on them. Exactly. We can't have lanes for the rich people, because they're for everyone. So I am very conscious about finances in this state, and I think our state's doing great. Can be doing a lot better, and I'm going to be working on bringing in new business while reducing taxes for the folks, for the residents and citizens. Infrastructure. Well, I don't know how if you guys have a problem here with traffic. King County traffic is horrible. 405 is a parking lot, day and night. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is, and nobody's working to fix that problem. Toll lanes is not a fix. It's a attempt to get us off cars and use public transportation. We need new roads. We need new bridges. Our bridges are falling apart. In fact, our infrastructure grade is C- for our state, for Washington State, in aggregate. So we're way down below average, and we need to fix that. We need to spend on infrastructure. That's why I intend to work with Trump administration to revamp our infrastructure, to make sure that federal budget can fund us to rebuild our roads, to rebuild our bridges, to rebuild our water systems, because they're all falling apart and it's been neglected. I also want to propose businesses an incentive to spread out, because they're all concentrating in 2-3 cities. And that's hurting the rest of the communities, because the people that work at those cities are spending the money there and not here, not down the counties. So I do want to offer a tax incentive for businesses to open up satellite offices across the state, move into less populated counties. I also want to work with high-tech companies and offer them another incentive, is to offer remote opportunities for people. So that if you're a resident of Washington and you're 50 miles or farther, you could get a job in high tech and work remote. It's totally doable. The technology is there, And that's gonna allow people to live where they, to work where they live and to spend the money there. And that's gonna help rebuild the infrastructure as well. The business is gonna start thriving again. The county is gonna start thriving again. Because right now, the current administration is really thinking about King County as if it's the center of the universe. Our state is huge, and I want to make sure nobody's forgotten. So that's why I'll be working to make sure that the business is spreading out. I also have a large program to incentivize businesses to move into this state, and also open up in special economic zones within the state to bring in manufacturing, to bring in other businesses, because I believe we can replenish our revenue from that instead of from the people who are being taxed right now. So that's my plan. Third, safety, very important. There's a lot of issues with safety. Homelessness is a huge problem. It's spreading everywhere. It's not a easy solution. There's no easy solution for it because it's a complex problem that includes people who have mental health problems, people who are on drugs, and there are unfortunate people who just lost their jobs, right? But we can see the failure of the Democratic Party. Jay Inslee's been as a governor for 7 years. In that time frame, our homelessness issue doubled. It means whatever they're doing is not working, absolutely. And I don't want to just throw money at it. I want to have government agencies who have a goal to reduce homelessness to zero. I believe it should be zero. If we are to call our country the best country in the world, if we were to call our state the best state in the country, we shouldn't have people sleeping on the streets, ever.
Especially vets.
And vets, absolutely. And I'll move to safety with vets separately, but homelessness is just a symptom of a failed leadership. And that needs to be solved, and I intend to work with federal government to make sure that we have enough facilities that are certified to get federal funding in mental health. We need the same for drug addiction, and we need to allow police officers to do their job. I can't believe what's happening in Seattle and King County is spreading here. Police are told to not do their jobs. They're allowing people to have 2-3 grams of heroin, and they're not even being arrested. And one of the ideas I had was, if a city or municipality fires a police officer for doing their job, the state should rehire that police officers. And that will help guarantee that the police is actually going to be able to do their job and not worry about being fired. And I'll see if I can work that in as a governor, because I believe law and order is very important. As a refugee who's seen the mayhem over there, most legal immigrants who come here because it's a mess over there. Police and the government takes bribes. The laws are not followed. And we can't allow that to happen, because it's going to be anarchy. And police is just doing their job. They're just doing the job that they were hired to do. So I'm 100% behind them, and I'm going to be supporting police officers across our state. Back to the safety. You mentioned veterans. As I mentioned, I have 3 boys, and school safety is a huge concern to me. And I'm tired of listening to politicians who keep saying, we care about our kids, so the schools are gun-free zones. When was the last time a gun-free zone sign saved anything? I don't remember a single time. In fact, I don't know, maybe we should have Jay Lindsay send in front of the school with that sign and see if he wants to protect the kids. I intend to implement real security. And I want to use the experience that I seen happen at Israel, where they had school shootings, and they fixed it by implementing school security. They haven't had a shooting since 1972, not a single one. And it's completely doable. And I spent some time calculating. We can put a protecting perimeter around the school with metal detectors and hire veterans as our security guards for 3% of the budget. And that problem is solved forever. But politicians will not do it because they don't want to fix the problem. And I do. And I want to make sure my kids are protected at school. So I want to implement school security. I want to have veterans as security guards, because they will be reemployed. And that will be a win-win situation for all. Now, moving on to safety. Second Amendment. A lot of people ask, well, what's your stance on Second Amendment? I support the full Constitution, both federal and state, and the Bill of Rights. Second Amendment is part of it. I don't support just Second Amendment, I support the whole thing, right? But I'm a concealed carry permit. I'm a lifetime NRA member, and I do believe the Second Amendment is a right, it's a God-given right. And I want to keep it that way. But we need to keep it and protect legally, not the way the Democrats do. So I have petitions in the back to repeal 1639. Please sign up if you haven't. Please make sure you don't sign up twice, because that will void your signature in both places. But I just wanted, a lot of people ask me, well, will you repeal 1639? 1639 was voted by the people. The governor can't just say, well, I'm going to repeal it myself with a signature. That's not how our system functions. We have a legal process, and as a governor, I intend, if 1639 does not get repealed by the people, I intend to work with a legal team to identify sections of 1639 that I can actually repeal through executive orders. There will be some components that must be repealed by legislature, and I intend to work with the legislature to do that. But there's no easy way, because it was voted in, and it cannot be just struck down by a single signature. But I intend to protect Second Amendment. I believe in it. This is a unique country, and that right it makes it even more unique. No other country in the world has that as a part of the Constitution. At least I'm not aware of. And it's not a single issue where, oh, we don't like it now, let's repeal it. No, it's part of the Constitution. Let's protect it. And one more thing on safety, sanctuary. Sanctuary states, sanctuary cities. As a legal immigrant, I can't believe this is happening. Come in and take a seat. When I'm elected, I will make sure the sanctuary state is gone. Because we need to sanctuary state is hurting people. It's getting people killed. When I was waiting to become a citizen to take the test, and I remember my dad was, kind of prepping for the test, and we had to wait 5 years to take the test. I remember my dad telling me he didn't even know if a parking ticket or a speeding ticket will impact our ability to get citizenship. That's how worried we were, because we believed in America. We wanted to get that citizenship, and we were very careful to make sure we don't break any laws. Is even simple as a parking ticket. And I can't believe people are committing crimes, sometimes even killing people, and they're being let out into the same neighborhoods by the locals when they're illegal. And this is something that just boggles my mind, and I say it's enough. We need to do something. We need to do the right thing. If, for example, if you're a legal immigrant and you committed a crime, by law, you cannot get citizenship, period. If it's a high crime. You can't. And you can be deported. That shouldn't even be a question for illegals, right? They're here illegally. Now, if you're, a lot of people confuse, and let me just straight the record. If you declared a refugee, if you're getting a refugee status or you're claiming asylum, you're here illegally. So anybody who's not is illegal. So you can't say, well, they're here because X, Y, and Z. You file paperwork and you become an asylum seeker. It takes a couple of years to get in. At that time, you're legal here. You get status, you get documentation, right? Most people are not here legally. And criminals who commit crimes who are illegal should be deported, period. They should be deported the next day. We shouldn't be paying as a taxpayers, and we should never accept them to be let out back into the society, not because I'm not compassionate, but because we need to show compassion to the citizens and residents who are doing the right thing, who are here legally. So that's on safety. But now I want to move to the most important part. What the Democrats are doing today with impeachment is outrageous.
Garbage.
They're doing the same thing with the $30 car tabs that passed, and now we're here, they're gonna file a lawsuit. That's outrageous. And they're not gonna stop. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing today. The left is using issues, sometimes made up issues, sometimes it's real issues, and they're dictating us that we need to all focus on that, like climate change. Is climate change an issue? Sure it is. Can they fix it? Absolutely not. But they're using us to get money from it and to get votes. And then they're going to continue doing that because all they want is power. They can care less about climate. You know, Jay Inslee says he cares about climate. He's been flying all across the country in an airplane, driving a Suburban. That just shows he doesn't care. You know why else he doesn't care? He closed down the Tacoma natural gas plant that was supposed to ship that to China. China is the biggest polluter in the world. You know why? Because their coal is super dirty. It's very dirty. When they burn, there's so much pollution in it. We can solve that problem by shipping natural gas over there, but our government doesn't believe in it. That means he doesn't really care about climate change. Because, you know, if tomorrow Washington stopped driving all cars, we wouldn't even get a 100th% drop in CO2. That's how small we are compared to the world. And so I want to read a quote here. Let's see where it is. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed to them to do the same. That's what Ronald Reagan did. And that time is now. It's not in 20 years. It's today. If we don't fight for our freedom, we're going to lose it. This is the next generation that we need to fight for. Because what the Democrats are doing is they're not accepting the people's will, because our president was elected in 2016 and they've been fighting him since then. From day one, they wanted to impeach him, and they're doing that today. And they're doing the same thing in our state with our 88, with $30 car tabs. They're not accepting the will of the people. Right. And we need to fight. So we're going to lose this state if we keep sitting on the couch. We're going to lose this country. And I'm proud of what Trump is doing because he's fighting very hard to make sure our country's not lost. But our state is on the borderline of being lost. And 2020 is a chance of a lifetime. And I ask all of you to get up and say that you care, to start doing something. Because if you're going to be sitting on the couch, please don't complain when this state is lost, because it will be lost. I see socialism creeping in. I see the policies that the Democrats are putting in. And 2020 is a chance of a lifetime to get our state back. And I strongly believe our state can flip red in 2020. I have the data that shows we can do that. But we can only do that when all of you get up and say, I'm going to do something. I'm going to fight for it. And what I ask is go talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, make sure they're registered to vote, make sure they come out and vote. You know, a lot of people ask, well, what about fraud voting? I don't know if it's happening, but if it is, the way we solve this is we need to bring so many people to vote that we override all fraud, right? We need to vote in the right way, and that can be done if we all get up and do something. So that's my ask. Let's save our state. I clearly understand what is at stake. If we do not win, the left will destroy the state. And as I mentioned, the 2020 is the chance of a lifetime. That is why I'm running not just to win as a governor in our state, but to make sure our state turns red and votes for Trump to re-elect him in 2020. I'm not a politician. I don't have fancy connections. I don't have big businesses behind me. My efforts are 100% grassroots. That's why I ask all of you to help me out. So please, spread the message. Donate to my campaign. We have signs in the back. We have some flyers. Aaron will be taking names.